So this could be the start of a prairie fire that engulfs the entire nation.
A DSA candidate is now the mayor of Seattle. A DSA politician is now the mayor of Washington, D.C. A DSA candidate is now the mayor of New York City. What is their freaking platform? Universal free rent. Free childcare and pre-K. All higher education would be free.
The word that we heard the most was free.
Their platform is, we will give you his
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Smoke and Power. This is the show where we take you behind the scenes to let you know what really is going on in politics. And on our mind today, and on a lot of people's mind, is the ascendancy of the Democratic Socialists of America, otherwise known as DSA. They were in the news recently for how they assailed Democratic Senator Scott Wiener of California, a congressional candidate, and for some other things that they've done, and for some big victories that they've won on both coasts. So today we thought we would take a look at to what is this party and what do they believe? David, do you know what the DSA believes in?
No, and I have to tell you, Mike, I'm like flummoxed. It reminds me of the 1920s and the Wobblies, if you recall that. Do you recall that?
That is a reference that I don't get.
Yeah, the workers of the world, the Wobblies. America went through this same deal at the turn of the 20th century, and it was a huge deal. But now I'm flummoxed. So as I look around, a DSA candidate is now the mayor of Seattle. A DSA politician is now the mayor of Washington, D.C. A DSA candidate or politician is now the mayor of New York City. These are huge metropolitan areas.
You could argue one of the favorites, certainly a 50-50 shot to be mayor of LA.
Yeah, that's right. Nithya Raman definitely has a 50-50 shot to become the mayor of the second largest city in the United States. And if you look at the city council of Los Angeles,
yes,
at least I think there have been three strong Democrat named, council members. I mean, these are people who would cred a former Senate pro tem, a former senator who was the guy that got driver's licenses for immigrants, Gil Cedillo. All of these people were knocked off by young DSA members.
Now, and then the other thing is, right, in politics, I believe, people have said this for a long time, as goes the coast, so goes the nation. So this could be the start of a prairie fire that engulfs the entire nation. And so today's episode is all about who are the Democratic Socialists of America? What do they believe? What is part of their ethos, for lack of a better word?
Yeah. And so the results from the New York elections on Tuesday really got me looking into this, because we have two Democrat socialists that look like they're going to knock out the two Democrat sitting Congress members, and then a whole bunch of state assembly Senate seats look like they're going to go DSA. So it got me thinking, Mike, what is their freaking platform? Because maybe we have them wrong. I don't know. Maybe we do. Maybe they don't think what we think they think.
Or in other words, what is making them appealing, perhaps, to young people?
Well,
are people reading their platform?
Yeah, I see that as a different question, because I see what's making them appealing, one thing, but I think what do they actually stand for is another, because what they stand for could be what's making them appealing. You know what I mean? And
Sure.
I don't think I know what they stand for. So, Mike, I did some homework for the show, and I looked up their platform. Can you give me a minute here? I'm going to run down the major planks in their platform, all right?
Yes, and meanwhile, the audience is shocked that you did some homework.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. All right, let's have it. I want to see this. I'm excited.
School. So let me go down. So universal free rent. So universal free rent. They believe in universal free rent. But not just that. They think that all renters should have free counsel. All tenants should have free legal counsel for disputes with their landlords. So that's one, they're a little connected. Free childcare and pre-K. So free childcare, free pre-K education for children. I don't know how that's going to work out. All public higher education is free. But actually, it's not all public. It says all higher education would be free. So all state colleges, all private colleges, if you want to go to one, it is free. No prisons, no bail, and demilitarize the police. I'm not sure what demilitarize the police means. Not sure how that works unless you're demilitarizing the criminals or the bad guys. But that's something you and I talk about a lot.
Okay, so, should you want me to jump in, and should I try to play devil's
No, I want to
advocate
go through
where
the
I
whole
can?
list first. Let me go through the whole
Alright,
list.
alright.
So I don't forget, because I know us. I'll forget if I don't. Open borders, and they call that freedom of movement. So all human beings should have freedom of movement, and that means that open borders. No one is a citizen of any nation. We're citizens of the world, and you have open movement. Tied to that, at least in my mind, tied to that is that voting for all. That's another plank in their program, which is voting for all. Now, you could do that math really quick. If you have open borders and no one is tied to a nation, and then you also have voting for all, I think you can see where the problems lie with that. Yeah, and
Vladimir Putin is registering,
yeah,
voters as we
right.
speak.
He's taking the entire state of Siberia and saying, "Go register."
Yeah.
Free Palestine. Again, that's kind of against the current both parties. I think it's against both of their platforms. 32-hour work week. So 32-hour work week. State workers probably have an 8-hour work week now, so that's probably an improvement on their work weeks. No fossil fuels and a tax on all wealthy people. So, as you know, in all communist and socialist societies, wealthy is a very malleable term, but that is what they say, a tax on the wealthy. So, I went through it. Thank you for obliging me and letting me go through the list, or I wouldn't have gotten back. So I just want to give your thoughts. I mean, you're a politician. You've been elected. You've put budgets together for states. You know how it works behind the scenes. How can a state that already, I'm talking about California, how can a state that already has a $350 billion budget as of this year, how do they take this stuff on? And
Yeah.
secondly, how does this party think that this is even possible?
Well, first of all, it's amazing to me that when you listen to the first Plank Slip platform, that there's a lot the word that we heard the most was free.
Yeah,
You know, to me, it's a little deceptive and it's a little demagogue-ish to go into people and say, "We are the party of free. You get a car, you get a car, you get a car." Like, it would be like, and I don't mean to be vulgar, but it would be like going into a room of very, let's say, I don't wanna use the H word, going into a room of very, sexually repressed 18-year-old boys and telling them that sex work is a profession and we believe it's a human right and we're gonna give it to you for free. And seeing that, like, motivate these very, sexually
sure.
repressed 18-year-old boys, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You're giving meat to the lions, and you're telling a lot of people who are rightfully upset with wealth disparity in our country and rightfully upset at lack of opportunity, and they're looking like, "Why don't I have the opportunities that I should?" That's their thinking, and you're telling them, "Well, we're gonna give everything to you for free." The problem is that never has worked. It does not work. I don't even know what free rent means. Like, why if if rent was free, then I guess nobody would buy property because there's no difference, right? Like if you I don't even understand that part. Like, that part is so
I,
out there.
I,
Some of the other stuff, though, some of their stuff has made it into the Democratic Party's platform. Like,
oh,
the
huh.
every renter should have legal counsel. We're talking, these are laws that were passed by the California legislature, the Los Angeles City Council. I think in the whole state, if you, let's say you are dealing methamphetamine at your apartment, and the other tenants are upset and their danger is at risk, you, the methamphetamine dealer, can get your eviction delayed because you get free legal counsel paid for by the taxpayer.
Hmm.
Right? So that's already here. That's already here in California. It's already here in Los Angeles, at least. Some of the other stuff,
Well,
free higher education, that's not offensive to me. There's definitely European nations where they do offer free higher ed, but there are a lot of catches. I mean, you've got to, like, really, really be into it. You've got to test into it. You have to work hard in high school. High school, in many cases, goes up until age 18 or 19, and then you can get a higher education, but you got to really work hard. I don't know if in the United States, where we have this tradition of institutions, frankly, taking advantage of these things, if we would have a lot of colleges telling people, come get a degree in underwater basket weaving. And meanwhile, they're taking the subsidies, right? See, that type of stuff doesn't happen in Europe.
Right.
The University of Heidelberg does not offer underwater basket weaving, right?
Right. Right.
What was some of the other stuff? What was the one that stuck
Well,
out to you?
some of them, Mike. Also, the legislature in California, at least, has tried to push through, and in some cases successfully, like no bail.
That's
Like
true.
there shall be no bail. They did pass that through a couple of years ago,
That's true.
and there had to be a referendum on
Yeah, the
that.
voters rejected it pretty
Yeah,
soundly.
the voters rejected it by like 78%.
And then the no jail part or no prisons, like
No prisons. I don't.
that part I don't.
I mean, the first laws that we ever saw on a tablet were the laws of the Hammurabi,
Yeah.
right? Probably like 5,500 years ago.
Yep, as soon as there was writing, there were laws.
And as soon as there were laws saying if you steal something, you got to go to jail. You know,
Yeah,
those are
or
the
like
first laws. The first laws were
yeah,
public order.
and it's what they teach you the first day of law school. You have a right to dance around crazy. You have a right to fist bump when you dance, but when your rights of your fist stops at my nose, right? If you start hitting me, then we got a problem, right? Then you're disrupting my freedom, and someone's got to take your freedom away. The fact that we've got to explain this,
Yeah, I know.
like,
Well, so Mike, I think I can see why young people are attracted to this, especially young people who are paying $130,000 for a college education that's going to get them to be a barista at Starbucks. I get it. I totally get it. Look, I'm a capitalist. You know, I'm a capitalist, but I feel, as I've told you often, we're in what is called end stage capitalism, where
yeah,
capitalism starts eating itself,
yeah,
where private equity owns everything and everything is commodified. And I feel we're in that in the United States, at least. And so when you do that, it's really tough. Average people, Mike, I was thinking when I was young, when I was in my 20s and 30s, I never thought about prices. And I had shitty jobs. I made no money. I was in the military and I worked in, whatever, just not greatest jobs. I never thought about money. No matter how little I made, I always had enough. It's just weird. It just worked out, right? How society had priced things to where they worked out for the average person. I don't think that's the case anymore. I make
yeah.
a lot
I'm
of
going to
money
make a
now.
counter argument to that. I'm going to
All right.
counter the whole thing. The study after study after study after study has shown us that wealth is relative. Um, you know what I mean by that is, s- I hate to blame it on social media, or media, but younger people pay very close attention to what others do. And when they've got all these YouTubers saying, gee, I did a viral YouTube video and now I'm driving my Lambo on the Vegas Strip and blah, 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 they feel inequitable. They feel like things are not equitable. But as people are fond of pointing out, the quality of life somebody posted something on this, and it really is true. The quality of life that a very, very poor person has right now is better than what John Rockefeller, who was wealthier than Elon Musk as a percentage of GDP. He was
Probably
like he was like a billionaire when like a millionaire was a thing. Like he was so freaking wealthy. He owned like 5% of the country or something like that. The average person today you have more information at your fingertips. You just look it up. You have better healthcare. You have better food. You have a diversity of food. You can jump on a Legion Air flight for $29 and get from Los Angeles to Texas, in 3 hours. I mean, our lives are really, really good. And not only when you compare them to people in the past, but when you compare them to most people in the world, but people still feel unequal because they are made to feel unequal. And I say, don't buy it. Don't buy into it. I'd rather have people reject capitalism and live monk-like lives than embrace communism.
ascetic is the word you're looking
Yes.
for.
Yes.
I think. Well, Mike, I all I can say is this: I have no problems with money, as you know. However, even I go, dude, $25 for a hamburger. Are you freaking kidding
Yeah.
me? I never did that when I was in my 20s and 30s and didn't have money. So I understand your point. But to your point, I don't think the 22-year-olds that are voting for DSA even know who John Rockefeller is. I don't think they do. I think they have no idea because they live for now and they're being raised for now. And I think all they think about is things are expensive. I want his. I think that's what they do, Mike.
Right.
And I think the DSA, as you can see from their platform is we will give you his. Like we
That's
will give
right.
you this stuff. And I can
We
see
will
where
give you a shit.
Yeah.
And at some point, everything will go to
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree. Well, that's where they're at. I wanted to talk about that. I'm curious if you in the audience, if you're I would love Mike to have a DSA member come on our show
Let's
and
do it.
explain how this is going to work.
Audience, I promise you this. We're going to find somebody prominent with a DSA and we're going to get him on the show and we're going to debate him.
Yeah, because I want to know how it works. I
Yeah.
just do. I want to know how they think it works.
Thank you. Listen, thank you everyone for listening. If you have thoughts on the DSA portfolio or
Platform.
platform, put them in the comments. We want to hear from you.
All right. See you next time.
Great.